1. Habitat. Rhinos are found in various habitats, including grasslands, savannas, and dense forests. Their distribution varies depending on the species. For example, the white rhinoceros is often found on grassy plains, while the black rhinoceros can be found in a range of habitats. 2. Physical characteristics. Skin. Rhinos have thick, armor-like skin that can be either smooth or have folds, depending on the species. Horns. Most rhinos have 1 or 2 horns on their snouts. These horns are made of keratin, the same protein found in human hair and nails. Size. Rhinos are large animals, with adult individuals weighing between 1,000 and 2,300 kilograms, 2,200 to 5,000 pounds, depending on the species. 3. Social structure. Solitary or social. Rhinos can be solitary or more social depending on the species. White rhinos, for example, are often seen in groups, while black rhinos are typically more solitary. 4. Diet. Herbivores. Rhinos are herbivores, primarily feeding on grasses, fruits, and leaves. Their wide mouths are adapted for grazing on vegetation close to the ground. 5. Reproduction. Gestation period. The gestation period for rhinos is relatively long, ranging from 15 to 18 months, depending on the species. Calf care. After birth, the mother cares for her calf, and the bond between them can be strong. Rhinos usually give birth to a single calf, and in some species, the mother may have intervals of a few years between pregnancies. 6. Behavior. Territorial. Rhinos can be territorial, especially males. They may mark their territory with dung piles and urine. Aggressive behavior. While rhinos are often portrayed as peaceful grazers, they can be aggressive, particularly when they feel threatened. Their size, coupled with their horns, makes them formidable in defense. 7. Conservation challenges. Poaching. Rhinos face significant threats from poaching, primarily driven by the demand for their horns, which are illegally traded on the black market. Habitat loss. Habitat loss due to human activities, such as agriculture and urbanization, is a major threat to rhino populations. 8. Species variations. White rhinoceros, Ceratotherium cymum, divided into the southern white rhino and the critically endangered northern white rhino. Black rhinoceros, Diceros bicornis, critically endangered, with several subspecies. Indian rhinoceros, Rhinoceros unicornis, found in grasslands and swamps in parts of India and Nepal. Sumatran rhinoceros, Dicera urhinus sumatrensis, critically endangered and one of the smallest rhino species. Javan rhinoceros, Rhinoceros sondaicus, critically endangered, with only a small population remaining. 9. Conservation efforts. Anti-poaching measures. Many conservation organizations and governments implement anti-poaching initiatives to protect rhinos from illegal hunting. Habitat protection. Efforts are made to establish and maintain protected areas to preserve rhino habitats. Community involvement. Engaging local communities in conservation efforts is crucial for the success of rhino protection programs. 10. Longevity. The lifespan of rhinos varies by species, but they generally live for several decades. In the wild, their lifespan can range from 35 to 50 years, depending on factors such as predation, habitat quality, and human-related threats. 11. Communication. Rhinos use various vocalizations, body language, and olfactory cues to communicate. Some species, like the white rhinoceros, are known for their distinctive vocalizations, including grunts, growls, and whistles. 12. Adaptations for survival. Rhinos have adaptations that aid in their survival. Their excellent sense of smell and hearing helps them detect predators, and their thick skin provides protection against thorns and insect bites. 13. Mating rituals. Mating rituals among rhinos can be complex. Males may engage in displays of dominance, which can involve vocalizations, posturing, and even physical confrontations. Successful mating often occurs when a female accepts the advances of a dominant male. 14. Water dependence. Rhinos are often associated with water, and they are known to be frequent visitors to water sources. They may wallow in mud or water to cool down, protect their skin from parasites, and potentially deter insects. 15 Rhino horns. Rhino horns are made of keratin, the same substance as human hair and nails. Despite being composed of this common protein, rhino horns are highly valued in some cultures for their supposed medicinal properties, leading to illegal poaching. 16 Dung is a communication tool. Rhinos use their dung for communication. They may create dung piles, known as middens, as a way to mark territory. These middens serve as important communication points for other rhinos in the area. 17 Unique features of each species. Each rhino species has its own unique characteristics. For example, the Indian rhinoceros has a single horn and a thick, folded hide, while the Sumatran rhinoceros is covered in coarse hair and has 2 small horns. 18 Conservation success stories. There have been notable conservation successes in rhino conservation. For instance, the southern white rhinoceros population has rebounded due to dedicated conservation efforts, although the northern white rhinoceros remains critically endangered. 19 Translocation programs. Conservation organizations may conduct translocation programs to move rhinos from areas where they are at risk, due to poaching or habitat loss, to safer locations. This helps in establishing new populations and increasing genetic diversity. 20 Role in ecosystems. Rhinos play a crucial role in shaping their ecosystems. Their feeding habits help control vegetation, creating open spaces that benefit other herbivores. Their wallowing behavior contributes to the formation of mud wallows that support a variety of plant and animal life. 21 Tracking and monitoring. Conservationists often use modern technology, such as GPS tracking devices and radio collars, to monitor rhino movements, study their behavior, and gather valuable data for conservation and management efforts. 22 Human-rhino conflict. As human populations expand, there are increasing instances of conflict between rhinos and communities. Rhinos may damage crops, leading to efforts to develop strategies for coexistence and reduce negative interactions. 23 Behavioral differences between species. While some rhino species, like the white rhinoceros, are known for being more social and tolerant of other rhinos, black rhinoceroses are often solitary and can be more aggressive, especially when defending their territory. 24 Horn growth and purpose. Rhino horns grow continuously throughout their lives. The length and shape of the horns vary between species. Rhinos use their horns for various purposes, including defense, establishing dominance, and digging for water or roots. 25 Rhinos and water sources. Rhinos have a strong dependence on water. They need to drink regularly and often wallow in mud or water to cool down and protect their skin from parasites. This behavior also serves as a social activity for some rhino populations. 26 Migration patterns. Certain rhino populations may exhibit seasonal migration patterns, moving between different areas in search of food and water. Understanding these patterns is crucial for effective conservation and management strategies. 27 Rhinoceros conservation reserves. Conservation organizations and governments establish reserves and protected areas dedicated to rhino conservation. These spaces provide a relatively safe environment where rhinos can live, breed, and hopefully, thrive. 28 Use of technology in conservation. Technology, such as drones and camera traps, is increasingly used in rhino conservation. Drones are employed for surveillance to monitor rhino populations and detect potential poaching threats. Camera traps provide valuable insights into rhino behavior without direct human presence. 29 Role of rhinos in tourism. Rhinos, particularly in Africa and Asia, contribute significantly to wildlife tourism. Responsible tourism can generate funds that support local economies and contribute to the conservation of rhino habitats. 30 Captive breeding programs. Captive breeding programs are established in zoos and wildlife sanctuaries to ensure the survival of certain rhino species. These programs aim to breed rhinos in controlled environments, providing a safety net against extinction. 31 Endangered species status. All 5 rhino species are listed as either vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered on the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, Red List. The black rhinoceros, Javan rhinoceros, and Sumatran rhinoceros are particularly at risk. 32 Rhinos and mutualistic relationships. Rhinos can have mutualistic relationships with other species. For example, oxpeckers, a type of bird, are known to perch on rhinos, feeding on ticks and other parasites, providing a cleaning service to the rhino. 33 Rhino horn trade ban. International trade in rhino horns is banned under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES. However, illegal poaching and trade remain significant challenges. 34 Community-based conservation. In some regions, community-based conservation initiatives involve local communities in the protection of rhino habitats and populations. These efforts often include education, employment opportunities, and sustainable resource management. 35 Climate change impact. Climate change can affect rhino habitats, influencing vegetation patterns, water availability, and temperature. Conservation efforts need to consider these environmental changes and adapt strategies accordingly. The life of rhinoceroses is a dynamic interplay of biological, ecological, and conservation factors. Understanding and addressing the challenges they face is essential for securing the future of these iconic and endangered species. 36 Rhino parental care. Rhino mothers are protective of their calves, and the bond between them is strong. Mothers often keep their calves hidden in dense vegetation during the first few weeks of life, providing care and nourishment. 37 Rhino hearing and smell. Rhinos have acute hearing and a well-developed sense of smell. These sensory abilities contribute to their awareness of their surroundings, helping them detect potential threats like predators. 38 Javan rhino habitat preferences. The Javan rhinoceros is unique among rhino species in that it prefers dense tropical rainforests and swampy areas. This preference for dense vegetation makes them challenging to study and observe in the wild. 39 White rhinos grazing behavior. The white rhinoceros is a grazer, primarily feeding on grasses. Its wide, square-shaped mouth is adapted for efficient grazing, and it often forms loose groups while feeding. 40 Rhino vocalizations and communication. Rhinos use a variety of vocalizations to communicate, including grunts, snorts, and bellows. These vocalizations serve different purposes, such as establishing dominance, indicating distress, or communicating with calves. 41 Rhinoceros reproductive age. Rhinos typically reach reproductive maturity at different ages depending on the species. For example, female white rhinos may start reproducing around 6 to 7 years old, while black rhinos may start reproducing a bit later. 42 Sumatran rhino's solitary nature. The Sumatran rhinoceros is known for its solitary and elusive nature. This small rhino species is found in dense rainforests and tends to avoid human contact. 43 Rhino population monitoring. Conservationists employ various techniques for monitoring rhino populations, including aerial surveys, camera traps, and foot patrols. These methods help assess population sizes, track movement patterns, and identify potential threats. 44 Rhino rehabilitation and release. In some cases, orphaned or injured rhinos are rehabilitated in specialized centers and, if possible, reintroduced into the wild. This process involves careful acclimatization and monitoring to ensure successful integration into natural environments. 45 Efforts to reduce demand for rhino horns. Conservation organizations work to reduce the demand for rhino horns through public awareness campaigns, education programs, and efforts to change cultural attitudes towards the use of rhino products. 46 Conservation partnerships. International collaborations and partnerships between governments, NGOs, and local communities are crucial for the success of rhino conservation efforts. These partnerships often involve sharing expertise, resources, and funding. 47 Disease risks. Rhinos are susceptible to diseases, and outbreaks can pose a significant threat to populations. Conservationists implement disease monitoring and management strategies to mitigate these risks. 48 human surveillance teams. Some conservation initiatives employ human surveillance teams to monitor and protect rhino populations from poaching. These teams may use technology and traditional tracking methods to safeguard rhinos. 49 rhino personality variations. Like many animals, individual rhinos can exhibit unique personalities. Some may be more assertive or social, while others may be more reserved or aggressive, contributing to the overall dynamics within rhino populations. 50 public advocacy for rhinos. Public support and advocacy play a crucial role in rhino conservation. Individuals and organizations worldwide contribute to fundraising, awareness campaigns, and initiatives aimed at securing a future for rhinoceroses. 51 rhino translocations. Translocating rhinos involves moving individuals from one area to another to establish or boost populations. This conservation strategy helps ensure genetic diversity and population health. 52 adaptations for nocturnal activity. Some rhino species, such as the black rhinoceros, are known to be more active during the night. Nocturnal behavior could be an adaptation to avoid higher daytime temperatures and human activity. 53 conservation drones and technology. Conservationists use drones equipped with various technologies, including infrared cameras, to monitor rhino populations. This technology aids in anti-poaching efforts and provides valuable data on rhino behavior and habitat use. 54 cultural and spiritual significance. Rhinos hold cultural and spiritual significance in various societies. In some cultures, they are considered symbols of strength, resilience, and even spiritual beings. This cultural connection can influence conservation attitudes. 55 rhino reproductive challenges. Some rhino species, particularly the Sumatran and Javan rhinoceroses, face reproductive challenges in captivity. Breeding programs often involve careful management and, in some cases, assisted reproductive technologies. 56 global collaboration in anti-poaching. The fight against rhino poaching involves international collaboration. Countries with rhino populations work together to share intelligence, coordinate anti-poaching efforts, and address the illegal trade in rhino horns. 57 rhino conservation education programs. Educational programs are crucial for raising awareness about rhino conservation. These programs target local communities, schools, and the general public to promote a deeper understanding of rhino ecology and the importance of their conservation. 58 genetic diversity preservation. Maintaining genetic diversity is a priority in rhino conservation. Breeding programs carefully manage captive populations to prevent inbreeding, and genetic studies inform decisions on translocations and reintroductions.